All right, buckle up, folks, because you're not going to believe this. Trump's press secretary, Karoline Leavitt, held another White House briefing today, and let me tell you, it was a freaking train wreck. We've officially hit North Korea and Putin-Russia levels of media groveling. It was straight up nauseating. You had these lapdog reporters asking the most pathetic ass-kissing questions, and Leavitt responding with these unhinged, delusional answers. Though she did accidentally throw Trump under the bus at one point, which was kinda hilarious. But before we dig into this mess, if you're digging this and want to support the channel, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring that bell. All right, friends, get ready, because this is the creepiest, most messed up White House press briefing you've ever seen. And yes, I'm serious. This ain't satire.
Releasing the president's fitness plan, he actually looks healthier than ever before. Healthier than he did 8 years ago, and I'm sure everybody in this room could agree. Is he working out with Bobby Kennedy? And is he eating less McDonald's?
I can confirm the president is in very good shape, as you see, on a near daily basis here. And in that vein, thank God it's Friday. It's been a very long and busy week here at the White House. We will see you all on Monday, and we will release the results of that report as soon as we can. Have a great week.
Seriously, I gotta wonder if even Leavitt herself is cringing at this garbage. That reporter, by the way, apparently works for that nut job, Mike Lindell, the MyPillow guy. Yeah, those are the kind of folks getting prime real estate in the White House press room under Trump. We're talking about right-wing sycophants, like Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend and this lady, throwing out these ridiculous ass-kissing questions. Oh, this 78-year-old dude is totally peak physical condition. He looks better than he did 8 years ago. He's like super strong. Probably bench presses like a quarter ton. Is he working out with RFK Jr.? And isn't he just like the most amazing? Oh, and does he exfoliate? 'Cause that orange glow is just like next level orange. It's pathetic, folks. Utterly pathetic. And that wasn't some SNL skit. That actually happened. Those are the questions the White House wants to hear these days. Now, imagine if someone asked about Biden. Oh, at 81, he's in way better shape, physically and mentally, than he was at 61, or 41, or 21. What's his secret? Imagine the righteous fury that question would get. But that never happened. This crap, though? This is real life under Trump. And here's another gem.
Of undertaking, there's no doubt about it. We take it very seriously. The president is determined to renegotiate global trade on behalf of American workers. And again, you've seen people on both sides of the aisles calling for this for years, but I think no other president lacked the courage or maybe the work ethic or the stamina to take on such a task. And
did you catch that? The reporter laughed because Leavitt just had a major Freudian slip. She's going on about how no other president lacked the work ethic, stamina, and courage. Boom! She just accidentally called her boss, Trump, a lazy, spineless coward. And you know what? It's the damn truth. That's why I'm saying it's not really an insult, it's a slip-up. She accidentally blurted out what we all know to be true, but what she'd never admit otherwise. It was a moment of pure, unadulterated honesty. Pretty damn funny, if you ask me. And here's some more of this circus.
First term. So trust in President Trump. He knows what he's doing. This is a proven economic formula.
What is he asking of Americans at this time? He talked about transition costs, transition problems. Is he asking something specific for Americans to do?
No, I think the president is asking for Americans trust in Trump, as I just said, trust in his economic agenda and formula. It's a proven formula that works. And by the way, clearly the American people do, in fact, trust him because they did just overwhelmingly elect him to this office.
That comment was just plain dumb for a bunch of reasons. First off, Trump wasn't overwhelmingly elected. He won by a measly 1.5% margin and didn't even get a majority of the votes. He just scraped by with a plurality. Second, he's lost the popular vote twice in 3 elections, so he's hardly Mr. Popularity. And let's not forget the polls. He's historically unpopular, only rivaled by his own first term. He's more unpopular, faster, than any other president in recent memory. Biden, on the other hand, started out with decent approval ratings and only saw a drop after the Afghanistan withdrawal. Trump's been unpopular from day one, and it's only gotten worse. So, that whole "the American people agree with everything he's done" line? Total BS. A lot can change in 6 months, lady. Look, I don't think Karoline Leavitt is actually stupid. I think she's playing a role, doing a damn good impression of someone completely clueless. That's what you have to do to defend Trump when the facts are stacked against you. And let's talk about the cultish vibe of this whole thing. It's not just those ridiculous questions from Lindell's reporter, it's the answers too. Don't worry about the stock market, the economists, your 401k, or the consumer sentiment polls. Just trust Trump. Lady, this isn't a religion. This is a secular government. We're talking politics. Just trust me, despite the evidence. That's not going to fly with the American people, even with how ridiculous they can be sometimes. I'm hoping they're not buying that crap. And here's more of this insanity.
Hey, why would any of our allies work with us to isolate China in a trade war if we're treating friend and foe alike?
You'll have to talk to our allies who are reaching out to us. The phones are ringing off of the hooks. They've made it very clear they need the United States of America. They need our markets. They need our consumer base. You saw Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in the Oval Office with the president saying that he was going to bring down all of their monetary tariffs and their non-monetary.
Seriously? What's with this whole Israel thing? Look, Israel's our closest ally, and they're heavily dependent on us. It's no shocker that we're involved, especially with the buddy-buddy relationship between Netanyahu and Trump. So, using Netanyahu as some kind of predictor of anything? That's a joke. And about these countries supposedly blowing up Trump's phone to negotiate? We'd love to believe that, but they won't give us any damn names. They keep dodging the simple question, who's actually calling? They don't have to spill all the details, just give us a name. But they refuse. So how the hell are we supposed to believe anything they say? They're terrified of real questions. And here's another dose of this madness.
Quick, the president of El Salvador is coming to the White House on Monday. Does President Trump want him to bring Kilmar Abrego Garcia with him?
The Supreme Court made their ruling last night very clear that it's the administration's responsibility to facilitate the return, not to effectuate the return. I believe the Department of Justice just filed another brief in the lower court. I would defer you to that for any updates. But as you mentioned, President Bukele will be here at the White House on Monday to talk about the cooperation that is at an all-time high. And we very much appreciate President Bukele and El Salvador's cooperation and the repatriation of El Salvadorian gang members who the previous administration allowed to infiltrate our country.
Okay, so get this. This Bukele guy is a straight-up authoritarian freak. We're talking about a dude who abused emergency powers and locked up like 2% of his entire country. And get this, even the Supreme Court, in a unanimous 9-0 decision, told Trump he had to bring back Abrego Garcia. Even Alito and Thomas, those right-wingers, were like, nah, this is a bit too much. So, if Trump was acting in good faith, why didn't he just ask Bukele to bring him along or send another plane? It's clear as day. The Trump administration is going to fight this court order tooth and nail, maybe even outright defy it. I wouldn't put it past them because obeying the Supreme Court makes Trump look weak, especially after Leavitt and Trump and all the rest dug their heels in on this. We'll see how this plays out, but it's going to be ugly. And here's another clip of this mess.
Tariffs. There have been big swings this week in the Treasury bond yields. There's a theory that it might be because of China dumping these as leverage, driving up costs for U.S. loans like mortgages. Does the White House have evidence that this is in fact a result of Chinese dumping? And if so, is there a message on that?
Not to my knowledge, but I would check in with the Treasury Department on that. I can tell you, I know our Secretary of Treasury, Scott Bessent, is keeping a very close eye on the bond market. He spoke about it at the White House this week, and I know he's keeping his eyes on it day to day.
Yeah, he's scared shitless. That's why he caved. The bond market freaked him out, And he folded on those tariffs after swearing he wouldn't. He folded like a cheap suit, despite what Leavitt and the White House are trying to sell you. And here's the thing that cracks me up. People saying, "Oh, so you wanted him to keep the tariffs?" Hell no. He never should have started them in the first place, and I'm glad he backed down. But even with the walk back, those tariffs are still a disaster. A 10% global tariff and a 145% tariff on China? That's a huge tax on the American people. So, I can say two things at once. Widespread tariffs are bad, and Trump's a coward for folding. I don't have to give him a damn medal for fixing a problem he created. It's like he announced he was gonna shit his pants, waddle around in them for days, then sheepishly reach for the toilet paper. I ain't giving him credit for that. He's a 78-year-old man, the President of the United States. You don't get a gold star for making a disaster you created slightly less disastrous. I'm gonna make fun of him, and he deserves it. And here's one last clip of this clown show.
Why is he optimistic that China's going to make a deal or wants to make a deal if they're not talking? Where's that optimism come
He's
from?
optimistic.
He is optimistic. That's the whole damn answer? She's asked why he's optimistic, when all the evidence points the other way. And that's all she's got? He is optimistic. What a load of crap. Imagine if Jen Psaki or Karine Jean-Pierre gave an answer that pathetic. They'd be torn apart by both mainstream and right-wing media. But Leavitt gets away with it because she's stuck defending the indefensible. The facts are completely against her, her boss, and this whole damn administration. That press briefing was straight up creepy, from a creepy and cultish administration. And we're only 3 months in. I can't even imagine how bad it's gonna get. But hey, let me know what you think in the comments.